If you eliminate the distinction between a political organization, which is a synonym for government, and an ethnic group, boy, you're going to hurt that ethnic group, and that's exactly what's happened. I've never seen anybody mismanage anything the way the government of Israel is mismanaging the response to what's happening in Gaza and the West Bank.
On the All In podcast, Tucker Carlson just revealed the truth about Israel and anti-Semitism. Is anti-Semitism on the rise? And if it is Israel's murderous acts in Gaza and in the region in general cause for that? How it's spilled over domestically in the United States? These are some questions that he answers in this clip, so let's get his take on this. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Do you believe that there is rising anti-Semitism in the West? And why do people say that you are contributing to it? Why has that become?
Well, I think there's rising anti-Semitism on the left and right. There's definitely rising anti-Semitism, for sure, and I hate it. You don't have to believe me.
You hate it, on the record, right?
Well, of course I hate it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of social media, a lot of this coordinated effort from large industry groups saying Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite. Why is that the case? Yeah.
Attacking my children over it. Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. Right.
And I actually called an Israeli official who I know a bunch of them, including the prime minister, and said, why are you doing this to me? If you think I'm your enemy, man, you're really out to lunch, and they're totally out to lunch. And I've never seen anybody mismanage anything the way the government of Israel is mismanaging the response to what's happening in Gaza and the West Bank. And the way to...
Well, mismanaging it is kind of a kind way to say it. I think it's murderous the way that they're handling it. To say it's mismanaged doesn't give it the evil kind of association that it should have for killing probably over 100,000 people right now. There's something like 100 to 150,000 missing. Israel itself claims 62,000 deaths in Gaza by Israel right now, and the U.S. is bankrolling it. So it's more than mismanagement. But, and I'm not so sure that anti-Semitism is on the rise. Maybe it is, but a lot of it is because social media has been less censorious of those kind of issues, I think, for good reason. And if you want to be anti-Semitic, you can be attacked and put yourself out there to be attacked by people that think you're wrong. That's what free speech is about. But I also think that Israel's acts are driving people in that direction based on what they're doing in Gaza and in the region.
And it's not my country, but I'm just noticing that this is really bad for everybody. Two things. One, you have to be willing. If I stand up and say, I'm an American, my family's been here for 300 years, 400 years, and I love this country, but my government's done a lot of horrible things. No one's like, you hate America. If you're like, I love Israel, or I like Israel, I'm a visitor to Israel, frequent visitor to Israel, but this is not good. Shut up! That's not helpful at all. Like, you turn your allies into enemies by acting that way, A.
Yeah, totally true. There is a double standard here. You can be much more critical of a U.S. state and not be accused of being some evildoer. But if you criticize Israel, dissidents know this. They're just going to be called an anti-Semite. Even the Jewish critics of Israel are called anti-Semites. Norm Finkelstein's been called an anti-Semite his entire life. He's the son of Holocaust survivors, a bona fide Jew. Glenn Greenwald, Dave Smith, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Maté, Jeff Sachs, they all get called anti-Semites. Thankfully, that word is losing any kind of value the same way racist and sexist have.
B, conflating a nation state with an ethnic group is not a long-term strategy. It's not wise because you are tied to the temporal politics, the politics of the moment. Like Bibi's political, I don't hate Bibi, but his political fortunes, individual political fortunes, play a role in his calculation in everything that he does. True with all politicians. You want to tie an entire group to that? I don't think that's very smart. You can say, I really like Israel, I love Israel, I have family in Israel, whatever you think about Israel, but I don't think this is a good idea, or I'm offended by it, or whatever. If you eliminate the distinction between a political organization, which is a synonym for government, and an ethnic group, boy, you're going to hurt that ethnic group, and that's exactly what's happened. It's so bad. And it freaks me out. And I will say once again that my views on Israel apply to the United States, they apply to Senegal, they apply to Malaysia, they apply to people.
But not to the Jewish people.
Oh, come on, dude.
Right.
No.
Right.
And I don't even fight back against it because I'm like, that's so low. Right. I'm not playing your fucking game, okay?
Good, don't behave like you did in that Ted Cruz interview, but I'll depart from Tucker on this one thing. I do hate Bibi Netanyahu. I won't even call him Bibi. It's like you're too close with him. You have that nickname with him. Well, to me, he's a supervillain. He's a genocidal maniac, and he deserves to go down for war crimes beyond the corruption and fraud charges that he was going to go down for before October 7th. But Tucker's right about this one thing. They are conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, trying to get it written into state codes. Both Georgia and I believe Arizona have done that to try to modify their hate speech codes such that you can get punished for being critical of Israel, but not a U.S. state. If you're critical of, say, Texas or California, depending on what side of the aisle on, you're just dandy. That's just fine. But criticize Israel and see what results befall you. Same thing with disaster relief, and being critical of Israel could prevent you from obtaining that from a story we learned a few weeks ago.
What my view is really simple. I don't think that it is allowable, it is the most immoral thing to punish the innocent. The United States government has punished the innocent a lot. They did it during COVID. I yelled about it every night on Fox News. All governments do this because all leaders get carried away with hubris, and they treat people like numbers or enemies or non-human beings, and they kill them. I'm opposed to that. You should be, we're all opposed to that, by the way. I'm opposed when it happens in Gaza. I'm opposed when it happens in Texas. I'm just opposed. And all of a sudden, we've reached this place where people are so overwrought and defensive. I came out and said something about, I don't know, I'm glad we beat Imperial Japan. I'm kind of sad that we incinerated all those people with the atom bomb. Ben Shapiro did a whole segment about how I was like a quisling or something. You hate America. No, I love America. That's why I don't ever want anybody to kill people who didn't do anything wrong. That is the basis of justice.
Yeah, amen, preach, Tucker. I'm with you 100%. From the atomic bomb to the atrocities in Gaza to the atrocities of my criminal government in the Middle East as a product of the war on terror, that sinister empire building project by the neocons that killed something like 5 million people, the reverberations from which haven't ended yet because of those atrocities. And a lot of people say, hey, you're a critic of Israel. You have this special standard for Israel that you wouldn't apply to your own government. No, I think the Zionists actually have a special standard that they apply to Israel that they wouldn't apply to their own government. And here's an example. They just allow Israel with getting away with saying, oh, hey, there were human shields and collateral damage caused by Hamas taking hostages, and we had to blow up this hospital to kill the Hamas members in it. Well, that would not fly in the United States. That's premeditated murder if you kill a criminal in the process of him holding 5 or 6 hostages that are innocent. You couldn't just say, oh, he's a criminal, they were collateral damage, all Hamas, or use whatever variant of that word to describe that criminal in the U.S. It just would not work. No one would accept it.
Punish the guilty. We can argue about to what degree they should be punished. Should it be Norway where they get high-speed internet and massages? Or should it be, Malawi where they rot in a cave? But
why are we not allowed?
We don't punish the innocent, and that includes children, all children.
Tucker, why are we not allowed to say we are absolutely saddened at the tragedy that happened on October 7th, and we're absolutely appalled at watching people starve and innocents being killed in Gaza and not being able to get them aid? Why can't you say both things and not be criticized?
You should be, and I've decided that I'm old enough, and I know, God, now I sound like such a fraud. I know my heart, but you can feel the hate coming off people or whatever. I would hear Obama talk, and I always really liked Obama before he became a senator, but I would hear him talk and be like, wow, that's animated by hate. And it would be in this is your captain speaking voice, but it didn't matter. I was like my dogs, I could feel what was in him. And I feel very confident in my views. I like people, and I just feel that way. And I'm not gonna play the game where I have to be like, oh, actually my wife is part Jewish or whatever,
Final
which I could play. I'm not gonna do that. I think we should stand on principle. Don't punish the innocent. I don't care who you are. No one has a special dispensation that allows him or his country to punish the innocent. And if you do, I'm going to call you on it.
Yeah, even if you're Israel, that's exactly right. That's the best mentality to uphold for sure. In every situation, have that same standard and apply it to every country, including Israel. Despite the attempts of the American right now to carve out DEI just for American Jews and critiques of Israel.
Okay. And let me just back up. In lieu of a final question, I just want to back up Tucker on this, that the basis of conservatism is not believing that any government is sacred.
Thank you, David Sachs!
Yeah. Every government should be subject to criticism because we know that they will always abuse their authority. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. All governments must be subject to
criticism. Indeed. Lord Acton had it right when he said that famous quote, and that's exactly what we have. The Israel first mentality truly is a plague, and it's such a pervasive force of influence within the United States, not only on our political class in Congress, but also on the bureaucratic class, on the president, for heaven's sakes, funded by Miriam Adelson, signing the Abraham Accords, moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, tearing up the JCPOA for the sake of Netanyahu, bombing Iran when you could have negotiated to create a new JCPOA. You know, funding and bankrolling the genocide in Gaza, the starvation campaign, looking the other way at the starvation crisis, you know, backing the closure of aid 3 months ago and the aid embargo and the establishment of the GHF. I could go on and on and on. The assassination of Yemeni figures a few days ago, the assassination of Qatari officials just a few days ago, expanding the West Bank settlements. It goes on and on and on, and the U.S. continues to support it. Hold that same standard to your own criminal government and to Israel's criminal government, and I think Tucker has it right. If anything, he's not hard enough on Netanyahu, and this goes far beyond Netanyahu himself. It's just not one unitary supervillain. You know, something like 70% of the Israeli populace supports that regime and its policy in Gaza, which is totally ghastly. If you ask me, there are dissidents like Yair Golan and Ehud Olmert, who has called this a cruel and torturous policy, and Ehud Olmert said he can't even defend Israel against charges of genocide anymore because of these atrocities. So there are dissident forces there, but around Netanyahu is people like Ben Gvir and Israel Katz and Smotrich, who are selling this stupid, warped and evil Israel First project called the Greater Israel Project to expand Israel's borders beyond what they are today. It's the Israeli form of Lebensraum. You know, that's exactly what we have, and it is because of the Israel First mentality. I think anti-Semitism could be on the rise. I'm not fully convinced. Maybe it is. You see it more on social media, but I just think that's largely because the censorship machine has been tuned down a few notches since, 2020, certainly so, and 2016 for sure, but also because of Israel's atrocities in Gaza and in the Middle East. Like, what's likely to turn more people into anti-Semites when both you conflate Israel and Judaism in general? You say it's synonymous, that Israel's the ultimate representative of Judaism. It's the embodiment of that religion. And you enact a genocide in Gaza, kill thousands of people, bomb countries, assassinate foreign leaders, etc., all with the bankroll of the U.S., and you expect there to be less anti-Semitism? No, I think that creates more anti-Semitism, and I think that's what we're seeing in the potential rise, if you believe in the rise. I'm not 100% sold either way on that, but if it's rising, I think that's the reason. But I do want to hear from you. Let me know down below, is anti-Semitism on the rise? Is it because of Israel? Is Tucker Carlson correct about the Israel First mentality and critiquing Israel? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the All In podcast as well. Great interview with Tucker here. Great moments with Mark Cuban in that interview too. Also, please consider becoming a YouTube member. If you click the join button below, you can help support my channel, which I'll tip my hat to you in appreciation if you go to those links. And as a gift for that, I will actually give you access to all of my videos that are members only before they go live to the general public on my channel. And until I see you guys next time, no more war, no more debt, no more inflation, and no more empire. Peace out, guys. Catch you in the next one.